So we're up in the Girl Scout camp today, getting wood out because it's way too hot and work in the greenhouse or the high tunnel. But it's supposed to get cold again next week, so I might as well come up and get some wood. And while Doug's pulling logs out, I look for morel mushrooms. So you know how Doug always talks about the old Girl Scout camp? Well, that's where I am right now. There's one of the old outhouses. It was a two-seater, pretty fancy outhouse. And there was another one down, I don't want to go too fast, back over there. You can see it off in the distance. There were all kinds of roads that were up here, tent platforms, a couple different pavilions that were here. There's one that's still standing. They were used by the Girl Scouts till 1971 when a tornado came through and knocked a lot of stuff down. They even had telephone service up here to the main cabin. So we're standing in front of what used to be the main cabin. There's Kean come to join us. They had a pump here, a hand pump. It needs to be rebuilt with, so Doug's going to do that. And they had an old, I think, thing to dump water down. It's got a couple of clay tiles that go off the back of the hill here. So you can see this is where the old cabin was, and underneath all these leaves is a really nice cement floor and foundation. You can see some of the bricks back in there. Or I should say cinder blocks. Not sure exactly what it looked like, but it was a pretty nice sized cabin. So one of these days we'll clear this off and maybe build a timber frame up here. You know how you always find strange things in the woods? Now this is right next to the old cabin. It's an old freezer. Guess we should scrap it. But being a Girl Scout, I bet you it was really cool coming up here back in the day. Like I said, I think it was a Girl Scout camp from the 50s all the way through the 70s. Maybe even earlier than the 50s. So this is pretty cool. Here's the old flagpole base. It was poured in 1957 or so, it says. So it's out here in the middle of the woods, and it was like a turnaround they had for the cars after they dropped off the kids. Doesn't look like much now. A lot of trees down, but you can kind of still tell where the path was. Still looking for the pole that went with the flagpole, but it's kind of cool seeing the cement here. Maybe hard to tell in the video here, but there used to be a tent platform here. You can see the remnants of the posts, with the cement that was around the post to hold them into the ground. That's kind of interesting to see. And then they must have had an old tire planter.
So a few years ago, we had a lumberjack come in and he cut down 113 ash trees here in the Girl Scout camp. So we've been, over the last couple of years, been pulling out the logs. Those are the ones that you actually see on the sawmill. And the ones that are a little bit too funky or have some filth in them, we actually cut them up into firewood. But yeah, this is the Girl Scout camp. It's mostly maple and oak now. And we actually tap the trees up here, and we really get some good syrup from this. I'm always amazed at this tractor. It's a four-wheel drive 1520, and it pulls out trees like you cannot believe. I think it's almost stronger than my bulldozer. It just does never get stuck, and it always pulls out trees. It's so strange.
There goes Doug pulling out another log. He's staying on the main road. He's very careful not to tear up the ground underneath all the other trees. There's probably tons and tons of gravel up here because the Girl Scouts always came here. The little Ford tractor's doing great. When Doug pulls these out, he tries to stay on all the main roads that were in here from when the Girl Scouts had the place. They had gravel down so the cars wouldn't get stuck. This way he doesn't disturb the forest floor. So here's the other outhouse. Some kids drew some pictures back here. It depicts the old house that used to be here on the property. It's kind of cool. You can see it's kind of in sad shape, but it hasn't been used in over 40, 50 years. And over here there was a paper towel holder. Pretty cool. So here's the front of the house. You can tell it's Girl Scout green, and they even had screen doors on them. Here's a closer up look of the inside. They had a mirror, some hooks to hang clothes on. There's a screen door. The old toilet seats, kind of rotten, but it's pretty cool. I remember the first time we saw the property, we were like, what are those things back there in the woods? So towards the back of the woods here in the Girl Scout camp, there's this little gully. You see some water going through it. They used to have a bridge going across it, because in this little flat spot back there used to be a tent platform. So here's one of the old pavilions that's still here. You can tell it got knocked down in the back from the tornado. It's amazing how well the trusses have held up all these years.
So this is where the old Girl Scout cabin was, and the cabin dimensions were actually 30 by 20. It also had a front porch on it. Right underneath all these leaves, there's actually a cement pad, which was 15 feet. The footers are all still in good shape. The block walls obviously have fallen down, but the plan is, hopefully this year, to get this cleaned up back here and then build a timber frame on top of this. I want to make it 2 stories so it has a bedroom on the top. I always thought it would be really cool if I could put a glass roof on the second floor bedroom so that you could look up and see the stars. Here's the other pavilion, and this one we got back up into shape. We straightened it out and I put some sides on it, just real rough cut lumber. And the reason why was we actually used to use this as our sugar house back in the day. So that all had fire bricks in it, and I had my pan sitting on there, and I used to sit right there and make maple syrup. So I think another thing we need to do, maybe this year would be a good year to do it, is to get this all cleaned back up again, get these boards down, see if we can use this pavilion again for a little picnic area. It'd be really nice because the cabin is right over there, so if we could restore that outhouse and this pavilion, it would be a nice little place. Maybe turn it into a B&B. So the sun's starting to get a little bit lower in the sky, which means that I could probably go back down to the high tunnel and get the rest of those strawberry stands completed and also set up. And I probably should stop screwing around in the woods. So I hope you liked the video. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.